All right, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Wednesday webinar with the lovely David Cohen. Just a little bit of housekeeping, we will be recording, so if you do not wish to be part of the recording, please feel free to turn off your camera. This is an interactive presentation though, so you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask your questions. If you do not feel comfortable doing so, please feel free to put your questions in the chat and I will relay them to David. Otherwise, take it away.
Thanks. Wow, I like that kind of introduction. Short and sweet. Has anybody ever been to an event and then they go on and on with the bio and it's like, okay, I gotta go now. Yeah. Welcome everyone. Let's hear from you. Who are you? Where are you from? And what's your business idea or what are you doing? And I'll start with Diana and then Tina. Diana?
I'm Diana Graham. I'm from Comber, Ontario. And I'm not launched yet, but I'm going to do bee bed therapy.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's, and are you, like a healer by nature or like,
Yes.
okay. Excellent. I love what you're doing. Okay. Thank you. Who's next on my screen? I saw Jody, and then, Tina. If you can do a quick introduction, Jody. Oh, okay, it's in the chat. I'm just listening during work just to learn. Okay, welcome to you. And you're from Essex, Ontario. Tina, do you want to just do a quick introduction? You can put it in the chat.
So I've got a business idea to help people rebuild their confidence at work. And I've written a book that I will soon launch, and then I'd like to create an app from it. And I haven't launched yet, and I'm just now exploring, how to get started on social media to build brand awareness so that when I launch the book and then when I launch create and then launch the app, then I'll have a, group of following that can benefit from my content. So
excellent. What's the book called?
And the book is called Taking Back Your Power. And the business I've called Joyify My Day.
Wow.
Because the other domain was taken, so I had to come up with two different ones.
Joyifying My Day. Excellent.
Good work. Like Shopify, but Joyify. Yeah,
Joyify. I love it. Okay. Welcome to you. Who's next? Lana. Just a quick introduction and.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you. Nice to see everyone here. I'm Lana, and I own Larder Marketing Group from Nova Scotia.
Oh my God.
Yes, beautiful Nova Scotia. It's really hot down here today. And I own an award-winning marketing agency, and we have had clients in the past where we've helped them grow 500% through marketing.
Wow, good stuff. I love that. And
thank you.
That's nothing, just, yeah, welcome. Nilu, just a quick introduction. Where are you from? What are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Neelu Mehta, and I'm living in Guelph, Ontario, Guelph, Ontario, and I have passion to help people. But currently, I'm working on my GIS consultancy. GIS stands for Geographical Information Computer Mapping Program. So, like municipalities, health sector, industry, private, public, they use, and my main focus in on their story maps, how they're and all those information, how I will help to bring on the map to visualize things and the future possibility to making a decision making process. So I'm just working on that right now.
Okay, wow, welcome to you, and
thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Let's begin. So my name is David Cohen. I'm also an author, and I just came out with a new book that I co-authored called Live Like Swift. And Swift is a methodology for living your best life, like a really balanced, full life. And it stands for social, work, or business. I is the inner game, like meditation, prayer, journaling, uh, learning, reading. F is financial. Nobody liked that when we tested the book. I don't want to talk about money. And then T is taking care of, which is your health, your family, and community. And then there's a big dream section. So we developed a Swift chart way back in 2002 or 3. And I never did anything really with it. So there's a Swift chart that comes with the book. And what you do is you set your goals every month in those 5 pillars. And when you live a day where you're doing Swift, oh boy, you're just in the zone. Like, you can't not have a good day. So just that's a little bit about me. I've been doing training and teaching entrepreneurs for a long time, and I love the work, and I'm really happy to be back here today with you and with Paro. It's been a couple of years since I taught with the Paro team, but I'm really happy to be back. So any questions before we begin? I'll just check the chat. There's a couple messages there, and yeah. And Kylie writes, yeah, okay, that they've had me several times. Thanks, Kylie. All right, let's begin. This is going to be interactive. It's not, I don't like workshops where you're just sitting around like watching. It's like, no, let's get involved, right? And that's where good learning begins. And we have Mel coming in. All right, so we're looking at the power of segmenting 2025. My company's called Your Big Venture. And welcome, already June 25th. I can't believe it. Again, thanks to the team at Paro. They do amazing work. Oh, if I want to go back. There we go. I want to just thank the team at Paro. They really, I love what they do, and I've been doing work on and off with Paro. I'm gonna say since like 2017. Like, it goes back that long. So we're looking today at the power of segmenting, and you're probably going, what's that all about, right? Or niche. You heard, have a niche market. We're going to look at how to discover yours. We're going to look at segmentation. If we have time, we'll probably do group work as opposed to breakouts, because we don't have a ton of time for this session. Expect to go to about 12:15, 12:20, okay? April's coming in. So actually this topic, it's probably one of the most important things you can do as you start your business. And that is to really have clarity on who do you want to serve? Who do you want to work with, right? And to really start the research process of getting to know their needs, their desires, what they want, where they live, what they can afford. Really get to know who that ideal client customer is for you, and get to know more about them in terms of needs, challenges, budgets, issues that they're facing that you can help them with. This is probably, you've heard this, like maybe from a new entrepreneur, and it's like, well, who's your ideal client? Oh, I can do business with everybody, right? And I love that when I hear that, because I kind of laugh and I go, can you? There's 8 billion people in the world today. That would take you an awful long time. Apparently, if you had 1 minute each, it's over 16,000 years that would take to talk to everybody in the world. So you do want to, that's a key reason why you want to target or segment or niche your market, because you'll never accomplish anything in those 16,000 years, especially with 1 minute per person around the world. So although you might have a really good product or service that you're launching, it's, to try and be all things to all people is really a difficult, if not impossible task. So you want to start getting into the mindset of identifying, okay, who is my ideal client? Why do I like them? Or what do I know about them? Have I had previous experience serving them maybe in a job? Have you worked in a certain industry that you still like? You know, you want to start to ask yourself those kinds of questions. And if you're going to be developing your ideal client or your ideal niche or segment, you've got to define who's your primary customer, right? And that you can reach them, you can connect with them, that they have a need for what you're doing, and they also have a budget, which is not a bad thing, right? To have. So I want you to do a little inner work right now, just and answer these questions. Why are you getting into the business that you're in, or why are you in the business you're in? What I lopped off a what? What motivated you to do what you're doing? Maybe do you have a personal pain that you solved and you want to see it fixed? Like you solved a problem that you were going through and you want to see help others? And then answer this: did you have an experience or see a gap in the market? And now you want to help others avoid the same experience. So are you filling a gap in the marketplace? And also, is your why, you know, I don't know if you've heard of the book, What's Your Why? But is your why, the reason you're doing your business, is it around a problem that you want to solve? And if so, what's that problem? And who do you want to solve it for? And then lastly, who do you love to work with and why them? So if you could take maybe about 5 minutes just to jot down some answers and we'll hear from you. Any questions at all on that? I want to welcome Mel and April to the call. So welcome to you. So yeah, just take about 5 minutes just to work on this. If you need to keep writing, you can. Jody writes in the chat, her husband has his own electrical business, a one-man show. So he likes to specialize in small jobs bigger companies don't want to do. And the lines of working for older people, seniors, and giving them a fair price. I love that. Because like, you've heard of cases where seniors are getting ripped off because they're older. You know, maybe a company's charging way more, or they're not doing the service. And you know, these things, these sort of, you know, bad actors, as it were, in business, you know, that's not really cool to do, especially for older people who kind of get a little bit scared, especially when maybe there's an electrical issue, or, you know, so they need to be sort of cared for a little bit more in terms of service and price. I really like that, Jody, so thank you. Anybody else want to share? Like, is there a gap in the marketplace that you see that you want to fill, or is there a certain kind of client that you love to work with, and why them? Anyone want to answer either of those? Or is there a problem you solve for others? You can put it in the chat if you want.
I'll go.
Okay, excellent.
Bed therapy isn't well known here. It's well known in Europe.
Okay.
That's where I got the ideas from a guy in Ireland, actually. And it's very healthy for you. The frequencies from the bees and the smell from the bees is very healthy. There's no one else around that I know of that does it, that is close. So I'd like to get it going and open and have something healthy for people.
Yeah, I love it. And I like the fact that you've done research already and you saw this idea elsewhere. So when you're now bringing it here to Canada or the Ontario market, you know, it's something nobody's heard of. And then, you know, there's an excitement to that. So good job, Diana. Yeah. Anybody else? One more? And welcome. We just had some new, Juliet coming in, so welcome to you. All right, let's continue on, and let's watch. This is going to sort of reinforce the self-work that we just did, and this is about, you know, a company that segments the market and really believes in what we're talking about today. So here goes. It's a 3-minute video. Turn on your volume and get out the popcorn. This should work. Why did that not work?
Sometimes the embedded videos don't want to play.
They don't want to play, and that's a shame. Okay. All right, well, we'll have to pass on that. It was basically a woman, a business owner, who was talking about, you know, why segmenting is so important for them. And we're going to learn that anyway here this morning. So she was talking about customer personas, like, and that's really like hyper-focused segmenting. So I'm going to share a segmenting story with you. And this is a client I had years ago. And she came in for a marketing coaching session. And here's what happened. Her name was Pamela. And she wasn't having much luck getting clients. And so she did mindfulness counseling, meditation groups, stress management. She developed back then a meditation CD. Now we all get it, you know, here, send me the link, right? For people to use at home. So she was, you know, doing this sort of work, and her target market was every woman aged 25 to 55, right? And she did a lot of networking to get clients. So when she went to share her elevator pitch, or, you know, her introduction at a networking event, no one came up to her after the intro part of the networking event to get more information. So something had to change. So in our meeting, we had a flip chart, and I drew a big circle, right? And I said, Pamela, the challenge I think you're having is you're talking to every woman 25 to 55. And within that target are different groups of women that might be really super stressed, right? And so I asked her, I said, what do you think the top 3 groups of women are, or 4 groups of women that in that overall target have the most stress? And so we did a big circle, and then we, you know, did a pie, right? A pie graph like this, or pie chart. And we discovered that there were actually about 10, but I said, okay, what are the top 4? And so we discovered in our chat that single self-employed women with kids had a lot of stress. Would you agree? You're running a business, you're raising a family, you're on your own, right? It's stressful enough just being in business in this environment, right? So that was one group. Another group were single, working, commuting to work, and with kids. Okay, so you got commuting, working, single, with kids. Another high stress group, right? Another one was married, working, kids, older parents to take care of, and commuting. So lots of stress, right? Getting to and from, like, she lived in Durham region, so getting to and from, say you work downtown Toronto, doing that every day, that's like 2.5, 3 hours of your life out of the day, right? Not a lot of fun. Then you've got kids, you're married, you've got older parents to take care of. There's a lot on your plate and not a lot of time for you. And that's why, like, meditation, mindfulness, relaxation type therapy that she did was super helpful. And then the last group was working, I forget what it was. But anyway, so uh, all of these groups had a lot of stress. So now, for example, let's say she targeted single self-employed women with kids. So now when she went to a networking event to introduce herself, she said this: are you an older woman? Are you going through life changes such as menopause, the loss of a loved one, a divorce? You know the pain you're in right now and life doesn't seem quite right, right? Or if it's a single self-employed woman with kids, do you know the stress it takes to run a business, never mind raise a family on your own? What we do is, right? So she spoke to the client that she wanted to go after, and she would attend networking events where they'd probably be at. So let's say she spoke to this group of people, right? Women that are going through change or loss. So what she does, she said, what I do is I guide you to manage your thoughts and have a mindful approach to dealing with loss and change. I do one-on-one counseling, meditation classes, relaxation, quiet the mind techniques to help you heal and find peace, right? I'm Pamela, and I'm your guide on your inner journey back to the flip side of pain. So that's how she would speak now. When she was going to these networking events, before understanding, who her ideal client would be, she would just go and talk and say, I do mindfulness and meditation groups, and I help, beat stress, right? So that wasn't so compelling to the people in the room. It was nice to hear and nice to know, but the group in the room, it didn't land, right? But when she really identified, her segments with stress, and she focused her messaging on just talking to them and leaving out everybody else, all of a sudden, at the end of the networking event, clients would come up to her and say, that's me, I want to work with you, right? And that's the power of segmenting your market, and maybe just having 2 or 3 key segments and focusing your sales and your marketing efforts on them. I'm just going to go into the chat because there's a few things, and all these points apply to me. While the global pet market is large, it caters to dogs and cats. As an exotic bird owner, it's hard to find affordable food, toys, care, and for parrots. I have to drive 40 minutes to the nearest specialty store to get supplies. Pet Value and other large stores have very little for birds. Yeah, okay. Thanks, April. Mel writes, she has her answers. How did she get into the business? She lived the pain and the burnout and the silence, and I knew there had to be a better way. As a survivor, caregiver, and builder of someone who had to fight my own recovery when the system had no answers, she's solving a problem that a lot of people suffer in silence, and nowhere that truly integrates science, soul, and safety. And the solution is Mel Collective of care surrounded a hub, a sanctuary that combines diagnostics, therapy, nutrition, nature, and creativity into one powerful healing experience. Now you have bees too that you can tap into. Why this? High performers, veterans, caregivers, change makers rarely get the space to receive care themselves, and she's filling the gap of what healthcare offers, and what healing demands. So great work, thank you. And Juliet says hello. Okay, good stuff. All right, back to the material here today. So do you see the difference? Like, what did you think of this sort of message? Would it speak to you if this is something you're going through? What she found was at the end, as I said, maybe 3 or 4 women who were experiencing this would come up and want more information and bought a CD, so she would sell something at the event for 20 bucks. And, you know, it was just, that's how she built her list. And slowly, slowly, it kept growing, right? Really important. So knowing your ideal customer helps you create your marketing map. So let's say you're working with, you know, people over 50 with these kind of issues, right? And challenges. So you want to start to think, okay, where can I connect to them? Maybe there's a business networking group I can go to. Maybe there's a trade association I can join, right? Maybe I could speak at a trade association conference and, you know, maybe sell my book or sell our courses, right? Maybe you can speak at networking events and show up and also have something to sell, like what, you know, what Pamela did, or attend trade shows where your audience is going to be there. And down the road, you know, when you feel more comfortable with your market, you know, have a trade show booth, right? So if you're tapping into older women over 50, you might want to tap into CARP, Canadian Association of Retired Professionals, or Healthy Over 50, or a Nurses Association. Nurses are, you know, getting a little older, and also you can advise them on the power of mindfulness to share with their patients that they work with. And yeah, as I said, go to a trade show. Where might they network? People over 50. Definitely the Chamber of Commerce. They attract an older audience. Perhaps churches, community centers, or any religious sort of organization, church, mosque, whatever, temple. They usually have social programs, and they would bring you in maybe to talk about, you know, bee healing. Like, what is this? What do we need to know about this, right? Or, you know, so you can speak at an event like that, or join, you know, women's networking groups where your ideal client is going to be. Maybe you need to get media attention. Maybe you get interviewed for a magazine article, or you get a radio interview, or if you can afford it, maybe you buy some advertising, right, to help you along. So people over 50, what are they listening to or watching, or sorry, reading? And it's Zoomer magazine, and they're listening to maybe classical music or classic rock, because, you know, we were rockers back in the 70s. Or, you know, there's a station called Boom, which it appeals to that older segment. Now, as you start to connect with the audience this way, and you have an active marketing map to help you connect to your ideal customer, and the more connections you make, the more trust you build, the more relationships you build, and guess what? Business and clients start to develop, and you grow your client base. Maybe you want to tap into what people over 50 do for leisure. Well, they golf, or they walk in the mall, or they do yoga or fitness classes. So, you know, if you go golfing, guess what? You'll meet some of your clients. You get into conversations. What do you do? What are you up to? You know, oh, here's what I do. Here's how I solve people's problems. And so you're not only meeting them, but now you're also maybe advertising or getting an article written about you, and then you go networking, and maybe you join trade associations or groups that you can also connect with your clients at, and also marketing channels to help you reach your client. You know, like, is it Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? Can you speak at libraries, maybe senior centers? Can you be a podcast guest? These are all ways to reach your customer, and they don't have to cost a fortune. And as I mentioned, you know, joint ventures, see who you could team up with, and they can help you and you can help them, right? So I mentioned already, tap into churches, speak at their community events, You can speak at a senior's home if this is your market. Guest speaker at networking groups, team up with doctors or nurses, joint venturing with somebody that is connected to your market is an amazing way to really tap into your ideal client. Any questions, comments? Everybody good? Are we all good? You can write in the chat. If you have any questions, just ask. I'm here to help. So let's keep moving on. So you really want to get clear now as to who your ideal client market is. So use that Pamela example. Like she had over 10 types of women in that group of women 25 to 55. But when she drilled it down and she segmented and focused on 2 or 3, I had 4 up there. That was if she had time to do that. Because these things take time. Like that marketing map, this is like ongoing, right? And it takes time. If you're going to, let's say, a networking event, you got to go there, bring business cards, think of, well, what am I going to say? You know, you gotta drive there. It takes maybe it's an hour or 2 for networking, and then you want to follow up after on the people you meet. So the clearer you are, the more targeted and less time wasted, right? So if you know who your ideal customer is and you've done your homework and research to understand them better and what's going to appeal to them and how you shape your message, you're going to have like customers coming out of the woodwork wanting to work with you. That's my hope for you all. Yeah. All right, let's continue. So once you have an idea of your ideal customer, you can begin to really do homework and research around their needs. Like you can be more precise. And I'm a big believer of market research before you lead. So really understand your customer and where they're coming from and what, you know, as I said, what are their problems, what are their budgets, what do they need, what's going on for them. So you can design surveys geared to the needs of your ideal customer, and then you can then design products and solutions and services that are going to help them. So a woman going through loss and change needs a different solution than a single working woman with kids to raise on their own. Would you agree? So that your whole approach, even though it's women, even though you're doing what you're doing, mindfulness or marketing company, you know, the fact that there's different types of segments and types of people within that framework that you're working with is super important, because now you can just talk their language. You can advertise where they're reading or listening to, or you can join networking groups where they are. You can really hone in and fine tune your overall marketing approach. And that's the key with segmentation. So yeah, any questions on that? So when you design a survey or a client interview in sales, let's say somebody hears about your business and they agree to meet you. What my approach is when I meet a client for the first time is I ask questions, and I want to know their pain or their challenges. What is that costing the client on a scale of 1 to 10? This is I would put this in a survey as I would if I'm meeting the client for the first time. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do they want to fix the issue? What are their goals, hopes, and dreams? Because as business owners, yes, we do products and services, but what we do is we take our customer from here to here, and we help them with the transformation process, right? We help them eliminate pain. We help them, grow their business by 500%? That's amazing, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do they want to fix the issue? What are their goals, hopes, and dreams? What are their budgets? Don't be afraid to ask that. I know we can't talk about money, but we do, we need to, right? Because you're not doing yourself any favors by not. and you're not helping the client by coming up with a solution or an idea or a product or service that's going to be in keeping with their budget. And if it is, they're going to love that, right? Are they doing anything to solve their current challenge? Are they working with someone now? How happy are they with their current vendor? Maybe they're not happy, and we need a new electrician who understands. My mom, lives alone. She has no idea about her electrical system. We want her to be safe. So maybe that current vendor isn't, addressing that challenge or problem, but you and your husband with your, company, you do. So there's an opportunity for you to get in and work with seniors in that way. Might want to ask, would your prospect or customer be open to a second opinion? Maybe what their current vendor is offering isn't really working that well. So it's nice to get a second opinion or a different approach to solving the problem. And then lastly, ask, what's the outcome they want to achieve, right? Really important. So you want to get into this knowing your customer, your ideal customer, segmenting and doing the homework so that you can really serve them in a very profound way. So now, how do we get to our ideal customer? Where do we find them? It's a big world out there, right? Especially on social media. So I think the first thing to understand is there's 3 kinds of markets that we need to focus on or decide if that's for us. So a market is it's a group of potential buyers of a product or service. And as I mentioned, there's 3 types. So one is consumer market. You've heard of this, right? You've heard of it. Oh, are you a B2C? Which means, are you a business to consumer? So we're all consumers. And a consumer market are people like us who buy household goods for our own use or benefit. And that's part of the consumer market. Could be drug, grocery, clothing, beauty, healing, right? You're dealing with consumers, individual consumers. It could be, your electrical service company. That would be really appropriate for you. That's, you're dealing in the consumer market. By knowing you're going after consumers directly, your whole marketing structure has to change, and it's very different from going to businesses. One big difference is, and you remember the law, right? You can't call a consumer. What's the word for it? It's kind of like spam. You can't do those spam calls. So you've got to meet the customer or the consumer directly as best you can, okay? That's where direct sales, hosting events, speaking, that kind of thing. That's, posting on your social media channels. That's where you can tap in and connect with the consumer market. The other market is what we call B2B, or the industrial market. And these are individuals, groups, or organizations that purchase your product and service for direct use in producing other products and services for use in their day-to-day operations. So if you're a company and you're manufacturing widgets, and you supply them with widgets, they'll buy your widgets because they need that in order to do business, right? Another thing they might need is perhaps employee morale is low. So you might have a learning training company where you go in and you work with companies to improve employee morale. And actually studies show that employee engagement has dropped dramatically over the past year. And that's a Gallup poll research study. So are you tapping into businesses? Because businesses, guess what? You can call them. There's no sort of legislation or anti-spamming legislation. And your whole marketing and messaging approach is going to be geared to helping those companies do well and succeeding, saving money, managing people, whatever it is, you're helping the industrial market continue to operate, save money, save time, and be more effective, right? So that's the B2B market. Or you could be a reseller. And so this is like middlemen or women, intermediaries such as wholesalers and retailers. And what they do is they buy your goods and then resell them for a profit. And I'll give you an example. So I've worked with entrepreneurs that develop a clothing line and they sell it on Etsy. Oh, we have a beautiful line of sweaters. We're going to sell it on Etsy, right? But and Etsy's hard because it's hard to find that manufacturer, the person making those sweaters. However, in the GTA where I'm based in, we have quite the fashion sector and industry. And sort of, places like Montreal, Winnipeg, right? So one of the, part of the fashion sector and industry are companies that are intermediaries. They have an agency where they'll rep clothing lines and then they go into the retailers and sell the products that these clothing lines are making for the season. So if you connected with an agency, they're sales agencies for the fashion sector, and they did the selling for you, oh man, awesome, right? They've got the contacts, they'll do the work, you focus on doing good products, you focus on your branding and your, getting people to recognize what you're doing and like what you're doing, and then somebody else takes care of the selling for you. That's a really good example of a reseller market. Any questions on that? We're good?
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
I have two questions. One is regarding okay, so regarding with the survey. So how often we do survey, like for businesses in
I
a
don't
year?
I don't know that there's a hard fast rule, but one of the things I find is I do a survey if I'm going to launch something. Like if I'm tapping into this market for the first time. So usually at the beginning stages, I want to find out what's going on in their world so I can really develop my product and service that's going to make an impact for them. So it's usually at a launch of maybe it's a new service or a new product, or maybe you're just about to launch this, a direction in your company. I would do it then. And the other thing with surveys, in a way, when you meet a customer or you talk to somebody, a customer or a prospect at a networking event, for example, it's really important to ask questions and get to know them.
Yeah, I have done one project at York University on consumer behavior project.
Yeah.
And so where in 2005 when I landed, like after 2 years ago, so after my GIS, when I learned GIS computer mapping program, so here when I learned about this project, consumer behavior project, so I went to different places to collect the information, did lots of focus group.
Excellent.
And to find out how many ethnic stores in GTA area, whole GTA, it's not like a one patch, whole GTA area, and in between first 5 years and 10 years, how many people they are using their like own ethnic product or Canadian based product. So that was my study. And through that, I learn a lot because the process, and then it's go directly to the businesses, how they bring the stuff here. So another my question is, okay, so sorry, I'm just wrote down the question. It's so, okay. So when we work with the B2B, because I'm a service consultancy, right? So tangible or intangible business. So when we do intangible business and we would like to work with the B2B, how can we do, what is the best way to do like a client interview or survey?
Okay, so you know, you got to focus on the value or the outcomes that your service is going to help your clients achieve or prospects achieve. So, I'm not so I'm not familiar with what you're doing where I can say what it is, but let's say you're doing sales training, for example. And so we help customers, grow their business by 10 to 15% with a proven methodology that we use in our sales training programs. If that's a result you'd like, we'd love to meet with you, right? How's next Tuesday at 2? So that would be sort of my introduction if I'm making prospecting calls, for example. And ideally, if they say yes, and this hopefully answers your question too, if they say yes, then I go in and I meet with them to get familiar with what are their needs, what are their hopes, goals, dreams, budgets, all what are their expectations, all those questions. So I get clear as to how can I best serve them and what products and services and ideas are going to work for them. So you want to take some of those research questions that you ask and apply it to this first meeting. My first meeting is never to sell. It's to go in and scope out the project, see what the client wants, see what they can afford, see how badly they need it. And if we agree that I can help, then I go back to my office and I work on a proposal with ideas and solutions and costing, maybe no more than 10 minutes to present. And I present my proposal, and at the end, I'll ask for the business. So those questions, when you meet the client for the first time, are really important. So you get really clear as to what your clients want, need, expect, can afford, and you want to get clear on what's the outcome, what's the value that you're bringing to those clients, whether you're a service or a product. Does that help you, Milu?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I have so many questions, but yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Hopefully that our discussion with Milu helped everybody, and that's the goal, right?
Thank
Yeah. Thanks so much. So, if you're going to be a business to business kind of company, identify like what are some businesses you grew with, what industry sectors, what sizes of companies, what needs do they have that you can solve, what expertise or experience do you have that will really help you solve a certain industry type or a certain customer, right? Have you had the experience of helping other companies in a certain industry sector, and can you take that experience and apply it to maybe a new sector, right? So you want to maybe focus on 2 to 3 industry sectors that you can work with, right? And then you don't want to go too wide. You don't want to do like, I'm going to focus on 10 industries. You'll never keep up. If you can drill it down to 2 to 3 max, then you can manage your messaging, your marketing, your sales, your client experiences, right? So it really helps you drill down and be economical and way more efficient with your overall sales, marketing, and time. So there's a lot of choices. If you do select an industry sector, here's an example of the packaged goods industry. And we all know these products. Well, maybe not all, because these are some American. But look at all the companies. And believe me, there's way more in the packaged goods sector. So that's like packaged goods, business to consumer, right? So look at them. We've got so much choice, so many companies to work with and to approach, where you can really help them. Why? Because you decided that you've got ideas, solutions, strategies, products, and services that can help companies in the packaged goods sector. And that's what they want to hear about. They don't care about the product or the service. They care about, hey, what does your product and service do for them? Like, what's in it for me, right? Yeah, I hope you're learning. Let's continue on. So it's vital that you get really clear on who your ideal customer segment is, right? If you want to call them B2B, know how you help them, share your expertise and your successes with them, know their challenges and issues and how you solve them, know who you want to work with. I even go so far as to build my Hot 50 contact list, and I begin my overall marketing and sales approach directed at that Hot 50 contact list. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time, so just, start in chunks and in bite sizes and keep moving forward. Maybe you don't need 50 clients, maybe you just need 10 to be happy and abundant, right? So, yeah. All right, we're doing really well. Let's keep on going. Now, if you're going after that, consumer, the B2C market, so here's an example of a consumer good, right? Baked goods. If you're going after them, then you've got to have them in your mind's eye. Think like, who do you want to work with? How can I reach this market? Also, this is really important. It takes 9 to 12 contacts to reach your clients. So you need to vary your approach. You can't just be always calling them, but you need to develop a relationship on social media. Again, that marketing map I share at the beginning, plan your marketing map and go to where your ideal client is. Maybe get FaceTime, Zoom time, network, attend events where they're at, meet in person or online, do talks, learn, sometimes going to an event yourself, connect, educate. These are ways to really intrigue and attract customers to you, right? Do talks, offer learning sessions, networking, and education. I'm just going to go into the chat and just hang on. Oh, yes, you should be able to get a copy of the slides. I sent a PDF of it, and if not, I'll send it once more to Lori. Hopefully that answered your question. And if you missed the webinar, you can also watch the replay of today too. Not that you missed it, but if you want to go over it again. All right, so we're still talking about B2C. And it's really important, I said, have them in your mind's eye. Like if you're B2C, what kind of person do you want to work with? So when you see pictures of this older woman smiling on the my upper left, what comes to mind? What do you think she needs? What's going on for her life? Any ideas? She's pretty happy. What would she need, want? Because now we want to design our customer persona. So if this is your ideal client, it's a senior who's, seems happy, healthy, vibrant. Maybe she's got grandkids that she loves and she's proud of. Maybe she wants to have, better investments. So once you sort of outline what they're like, what they do, and what they're about and what drives them, now you can create ideas, products, services, and solutions that's going to help this woman, right? So really important to do that. Also, this guy in the middle, he looks kind of stressed. Maybe he's stressed out. Maybe he needs some healing work. Maybe he, needs some business advisory, right? So Paro could reach out to this gentleman. So you have different pictures, and what these are called are different personas, right? The young girl on the bottom, probably new career, just starting out, wanting to look good and feel good, right? Wanting a balanced lifestyle. So once you have in your mind's eye who your ideal client is, you can begin to sort of tell a story about them, right? And then knowing that story can help you create, again, the products, services, and solutions that are going to help them. So we just focused on a few, but it's really important to drill down and, who do you want to work with? It's like Pamela, she couldn't work with everybody. It was too big a target market and there was no clarity. So these personas is another name for it that's used. They're known as customer avatars. And it's a detailed profile of your ideal customer. The avatar focuses on one person and outlines everything about them. So it really goes into deep depth than a regular marketing persona, providing marketers with many more marketing tools that can help. So you want to start focusing. Yes, it's great to have a target market, but within each target, focus on that subsegment market and identify the subsegments you want to work with and keep your focus. You're going to win the day. I guarantee it. You're going to be successful. The fear is, yeah, but if I say no to all these other groups, won't my business suffer? No, not at all. We just looked at, in a business to business case, the packaged goods industry, and look at all the companies. There's a lot, right? So when you're segmenting on a certain profile of your customer, you can talk your customer's language. You can develop a promotional strategy and marketing strategy and messaging that's going to get attention, right? Your customer is going to be intrigued. Your promotional budget will be way more cost effective if you promote to one type of customer and speak directly to them. You can hyper-focus and create a highly focused marketing campaign that will directly meet the needs and desires of a specific group that you want to go after. So you think of these, big companies, and they all have a clear sort of market, like McDonald's. Actually, McDonald's does advertising to appeal to 3 of their key segments. So one are teenagers, the other are young families with young kids, the Happy Meal, and the other are seniors getting together at McDonald's for a coffee that costs you $1.05 with your friends. It gets you out, gets you socializing. So they have 3 key different segments, and sometimes they'll blend the two. It could be a senior going out with the grandkids. Oh, I love you, Grandpa, like that kind of thing, right? So segmenting really helps. All right, we're going to work on a couple more things and then we'll wrap up. I want to share another way to tap into your ideal customer, and it's the notion of storytelling. And storytelling helps you connect to your ideal client. You've all heard of Pixar, right? Pixar films. They do amazing work. They got a new film coming out now. You've probably seen ads for it. I think it's called Elsie or Elsa or something. Anyway, they have a way of storytelling that would help you to connect to your ideal client. And I'm just going to share it with you. Hopefully, I've got a video. Oh, my videos aren't working. This is called the Pixar Story Spine. So Pixar developed a way of storytelling that engages the audience. And that's what you need to do in terms of tapping into this power of storytelling. Because storytelling connects you to your ideal client. And I'll show you exactly how. So storytelling enables marketers to develop a deeper connection with the audience. When you tell a story about you, your journey, and how you got to where you are, other people, your audience, are going to go, oh my God, that's me. I want to talk to them, right? So it's a very powerful method of learning, but also of marketing. So in addition to being an important strategic tool, it can be a tactical tool that lets marketers engage with consumers in a fragmented media world. Actually, not only fragmented, but a very noisy media world. I'm just gonna, yeah, okay. Kylie, thank you. Kylie gave you a link to the Pixar story idea, and we're gonna now sort of get into what the story idea is. It's called the story spine, and it kind of goes like this. Once upon a time, there was you, right? And every day, I would see in my healing practice seniors that and older, caretakers weren't getting their needs met either. So one day, I did, I attended a workshop, and I found that this was a big market. And because of that, I started to do research to, see if this business idea would take off. And because of that research, that confirmed that there's a big need for caretakers and people in pain or whatever. Because of that, I finally, moved towards launching my business, and here I am, right? So that's the story spine that Pixar uses in their storytelling in their films. And yeah, so I'd love to hear yours. And then we'll just finish off. Yeah, we're almost done. So are you okay to work on your Pixar story spine? So once upon a time, every day, and one day, because of that, finally, here I am, right? And you can use this, we're gonna finish off within 6 minutes. So, we're not gonna go that long. The other really important thing with this is a great way to use at a networking event. I put my story on my website. You can put it in a sales letter. You can share it on your, doing a video on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. So let me just shut up and work on this, okay? Take about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, and we'll hear a couple. If you think of some of Pixar's movies like Toy Story, there's something that happened and then they all got together and, to infinity and beyond, right? So this is a really big part of their storytelling formula that they've developed and used. Now other, movies and film and plays and things like that, they're using this formula. And it's also, as I say, it's really important to use the storytelling idea and use the story spine as your framework in a business context, because people get inspired. Hey, this is my journey, this is what happened, and because of that, here we are, right? All right, who'd like to share? Oh, here we go. April says, once upon a time, yeah, I love this. There was a parrot owner, and every day the parrot owner had to travel to get supplies for the parrot. And one day the closest store had no more stock. Because of that, the parrot owner researched other options and found none. And because of that, the parrot owner found a gap in the market where there was a growing demand, until finally the parrot owner decided to fill that gap and open XYZ store. I love it. And you got a purple heart. So that's exactly it. And doesn't that sound compelling? What? There's no stores for birds and parrots? What if I can't get something? My bird will die, right? So it's engaging, and it makes you stand out, and it makes you, really notable. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Good stuff. So anybody else? Going once, going twice? Okay, let's wrap up, but work on it. And I'm on LinkedIn. If you want to send it to me, and you can email me, and I can, do a little wordsmithing and massage it, or give you 2 thumbs up. So really, let's just wrap up now. Other ways to find your niche customer. Have they experienced what you went through? And can you teach them how to overcome it? A niche might be from the industry you're in. It might come from previous contacts or jobs where you've made connections in the past and now you can use them. It can be a need you're filling in the market, or it could be a special, unique approach to solving problems. Like, what's your secret sauce? You know, like a food product, that's a niche, right? Look at all the food products in the grocery store. Maybe you've got a, you know, unbelievable barbecue rub that you develop, right? So these are ways to really find, you know. Oh, thanks, Kylie. My LinkedIn link is in the chat. Also, remember, you know, to learn about your prospective customers, what their characteristics, what makes them different, what are their buying habits, what's the size for your product or service, the market size, what, where are you going to sell your products and services, and where are your customers? Where do you have to go to meet them? Couple things, get into the research mindset, use Google, ChatGPT now. Google Alerts can alert you on stories about your industry. Tap into local economic development offices, and also organizations like Taro. They've got lots of information and things you can learn at the Taro office, not just from the one-on-one you know, work with consultants or coaches, but also they've got data and information that they can help you with. Tap into related trade associations, get your library card, go to your library, they're super helpful. Join your local chamber of commerce or board of trade, they're both the same, they're just different names. Attend trade shows, maybe hire a research company, read, you know, read is a book a month at least, and tap into media that might help you. Podcasts, you know, TV shows, things like that. Hey, if you're doing a food product, you got full permission to watch the Food Network, right? And then here's just a couple books that might help you with your business and in terms of niching. There's some great stories in the email. This is the book by Simon Sinek about what's your why, like why are you doing this? And Fascinate, it's all about really phenomenal marketing and sales strategies and tips. So this is where you get a hold of me. You got my LinkedIn link in the chat. Any questions, comments? We finished before 12:15. Are we good? Do you want to share maybe upcoming events or workshops, Kylie, before we wrap up?
So I'm gonna put my email there in the chat for anybody that would like a copy of the recording, or we also include our 2025 playlist. So if there's any previous webinars you want to catch up on, you can go and request it there. We do have upcoming, and these are all the details I have just right now for it. On December 4th, Peril will be celebrating their 30th anniversary. So more details coming in the future about that one. We do also have the Self-Made Breakfast Tour. The dates for that are all on our website. There, women from across Canada can come and join us. We'd love to hear from you about it, because at those, not only is it a day to celebrate women entrepreneurs and hear from inspiring other women entrepreneurs, it's also where we get to sit down with everybody and have a CFT, Collaboration for Transformation table talk, where we get to hear from the women entrepreneurs about their pains, their successes, and this way we can lobby to the government and other organizations to help get them what they need. So check out our website, pero.ca, for that info. Go talk to David on LinkedIn, email him, chat with him, because he is amazing. He has done many, many other webinars for us, and they're always amazing. If you want links to those again, shoot me an email. Otherwise, thank you, David, for the wonderful presentation, like always, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Yeah, oh, I just want to acknowledge I got kudos from Lana, who being a marketing consultant, that's kind of cool, and April and everybody else. It was a joy meeting you, and Kylie, you're a gem. So thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you again, David. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming. We hope to see you at future webinars. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day and enjoy your summer, everybody.
Exactly. Enjoy it to the max. Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.